Hello, and welcome to a Mordheim battle report. The scenario for this one is a living treasure. It's a custom scenario that someone made. I don't know who exactly. I didn't care to look that up, but I'm sure you can find it on the internet if you're interested. So in this one, my friends Witch Hunter fight against my Norse Explorers. So the living treasure scenario. So the terrain rules are like the normal rules, but each warband gets to deploy 3 treasure markers. These markers are to be deployed 12 inches from the side and 6 inches from each other. So the special rules for this scenario. The markers that each person deploys represent treasure chests. These chests can be searched, but it takes that model his whole turn, and you also can't move and then search these markers the same turn, which I think is the best way of doing stuff like this. I mean, sometimes maybe you want it to be more quick, but I think it's more dynamic and a bit more risk/reward if you have to dedicate a model's whole turn to do something. Any model may try to break or search the chests to open them by first passing a strength test. If this test is passed, roll another d6 to see what's inside. So 5 to 6, you find the riches and must leave the board to claim them. 3 to 4, nothing. Kinda disappointing, but at least it wasn't 1 to 2. It's a chest monster or mimic. And this guys has some crazy stats. They are basically warhounds with 1 extra attack. And when they appear, from what I believe, they count as being in combat with the guy opening the chest. So pretty nasty stuff. Okay, so this is a picture of the city's layout for this game. So my deployment on the right side of the table, I have 2 marauders with shield and spear. Beside them, my Jarl. He has beside them, my Jarl. He have a sword and shield. Then I have 2 hunters with axe and bow, and behind them are my 2 bondsmen. Both of my bondsmen have flail. You can also see where I put 2 of my objective markers. One is in front of the house, and the other one is on the lowest floor in the building beside the first one. On the left side, I have my Ulfvernar, a berserker with double axes and 2 wolves. Also my last marker in the middle of the picture, as you can see. This is how my opponent deployed his witch hunters. From right to left, he has a zealot with double clubs, a warhound, his witch hunter captain in the middle with a, I believe it's a pistol and sword and helmet. And then he has a witch hunter with brace of pistols and a flaglant with great weapon. Then he has 2 more witch hunters equipped with double clubs and bow, I believe, and then a warhound. And on the far left he has 2 zealots with double club. You can also see from the arrows in the middle where he chose to put his objective markers this game. So the witch hunter gets the first turn. So he moves up, like as you can see, pushing his dogs forward and moving the rest of his men towards the objective points. A little bit, yeah, so he won't be able to search it this or the next turn. So on my turn I move up my Norse Explorers, as you can see. I push the marauders out of the door forward, and the rest of them soldiers I push for the middle, preparing to move some of them onto the objective on this side, and also to meet the witch hunters at the choke point in the middle of the 4 houses in this picture. On the left side I move my flanking force, as you can see. I try to put them behind stuff, so they at least get a cover save, maybe, from the arrows that will sure to be to come from the witch hunters next turn. So then on the witch hunter's turn 2, he moves his really well-trained dogs into potential flanking positions behind the houses. So if I push my guys forward, he will be able to get an easy charge, but I can't see them. From his side, he puts as many soldiers as he can on each objective, just in case a mimic appears. They are pretty nasty. He also put some of his guys in cover behind the well, just so I can't charge him with my wolves. Movement 9 are pretty nasty. So on my turn I choose to charge one of my wolves against one of his warhounds that he barely could see. I also push my Ulf Renar on the objective, and yeah, to prepare to search it the next turn. And if something goes wrong, I have my berserker behind it to charge in the next turn. On this side, I move up like this. I put my 2 hunters into firing positions. One of the marauders with spears I put on the objective, preparing to search it the next turn. So this is before and after combat. So basically both missed or failed to wound and we stick. Which is bad for me because the Warhound has better strength and better weapon skill and better initiative. But then on the Witch Hunter turn 3, this disaster struck. So basically the first objective he searches becomes a mimic, represented in this game by a skeleton warrior, and it counts as a charge against the one searching it. So he's Witch Hunter captain. The other objective also becomes a mimic. And just to throw some salt into the wound, the last one becomes nothing. So not a great start for the Witch Hunters, unfortunately. So the rest of his movement looks like this. He regroups his guys as well as he can, putting them in groups of 2, and prepare to start shooting at my stuff behind the well, in the bottom of the picture. His shooting does nothing, but in the close combat his Warhound rips the throat or something of my wolf and kills it. So that's something. But unfortunately for the great weapon wielding Flaglant, the mimic goes to town and slays him before he even has a chance to strike back. In the combat with the Witch Hunter captain, well, somehow I must have missed taking a photo of it, but apparently he also charged with a Warhound. I think he moved it back the last turn to help with potentially with a potential threat that objective markers would become mimics. So in the combat he had a Warhound, his Witch Hunter captain, and a Zealot. But the Zealot got killed by the mimic, and both the Witch Hunter captain and the Warhound was not able to put the mimic down. A little bit unlucky to at least not knock it down or something. So on my turn, fortune smiles upon the Norse, and the first objective marker I search is actually a chest with treasure in it, so there's more glory to be had, maybe. The one that my Ulf Verenar searches was an empty chest, and then I move the rest of my guys up. As you can see, I put 2 bondsmen onto the last of my objective markers and push the hunters up to take some pot shots on something, and put my Jarl behind them in case something dare to approach us. Maybe I can get a charge or something. I also move one of my marauders with spear and shield this way around the house to get some different line of sights, and also potentially to counter charge something, maybe. So in the Mimic's turn, the Mimic charged the closest model, and that's the Witch Hunter with brace of pistol. Nothing much else happens in the shooting phase and so on. So in the combat phase, this time around, the Mimic turns around and breaks the skull of the Witch Hunter captain. And to even put more salt in the wound, even though the Witch Hunter captain and the Warhand has the same initiative as the Mimic, he's not able to even knock it down this turn either. The Mimic that charged the Witch Hunter with the brace of pistol kills the Witch Hunter, and at this point my opponent concedes and order the rest of his warband to run to the hills, basically. I can't really blame him. So this scenario is a scenario that you can choose to continue, even though the opposing warband or warbands are no longer on the table, just to collect as much treasure as you can. But since this is just a friendly match and not a campaign or something like that, we decide to stop the game right there. So because I found it pretty funny and my opponent also pointed that out, that it wasn't I who broke his men, it was a broken scenario. And well, I don't know, this is a custom scenario that someone made, but I think the problem with it might be that it's a bit too luck reliant. I mean, if one side gets only Mimics and they slay half his warband, what can you do, right? And the other side gets chests with gold and jewels or whatnot. So maybe if we play this in the future, we have to tweak it a bit to make it a bit more fair or manageable. Also, this might be a scenario that's better suited if you are like 3 warbands on the table at the same time, or maybe 4 even, just to make the markers be all over the table, so there will be more confrontations between different factions. But in spite of that, I made some mimics to symbolize these pesky wild creatures if we ever were to play this scenario again. And who knows, they might be useful for other stuff in the future. So, hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next Mordheim battle report. There will be some more standalone games, but the idea is that when we have a good enough table, we will try to gather up some people and do a bigger Mordheim campaign. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, until next time, bye.